Markland. I'm the Summer Programs Coordinator at the Canadian Clay and Glass Gallery, and I'm going to show you around our public art and glass exhibit. So, this is the public art and glass exhibit. Public art is any type of art that's meant to be displayed in or part of public spaces, and they have a lot of different functions. They beautify spaces, they tell stories, they reflect community values, and they transform landscape. In this exhibit, we're focusing on public art that is glass works. And because public art is site-specific, so you can't remove them from their homes, from their buildings, and the space that surround them, in this exhibit, we are focusing on some of the behind-the-scenes work that goes into the installation as well as the creation of public glass arts. Our first artist is Jekyll, and he was a huge force in the Canadian craft community. He has over 30 years of experience creating stained glass art, and he was also a bit of a pioneer when it came to creating secular, non-religious glass art. So here are a few photos of some of his glass works. So here we have a photo of the Centennial Project for Humberside Collegiate. It was finished in 1992. And here are some sketches with all of the colors that were officially decided to be part of the piece. And here is some prototypical work. This Centennial Project consists of 6 windows. They are celebrating the 100th anniversary of Humberside Collegiate, and they were inspired by Canadian history stories. He used research which was compiled by the school's grade 10 history students, and together they came up with 6 themes. And so within these pieces, maybe you'll be able to identify some imagery that might remind you of some stories that you know about Canadian history. This one here is also made by Jekyll. It's called Painting with Light Window, and it was in the Ontario Craft Collection. It's on loan from them. This was made in 1976. This one, if you go really closely, you can see that there is some textured glass. And so there's a lot of variations in the colors, but also in the feel of the glass as well. Textured glass is a little bit more difficult to work with for glass artists than just typical smooth glass. And that's because when you're cutting the glass, you need to make sure that you cut along the grain of the texture. If you don't do that, your lines might get messed up and you might have to cut your glass over and over again. Okay, so our next artist is Cotter, and he is a practicing artist from Winnipeg, a contemporary sculptural glass artist, and he works on monumental glass pieces. We're really lucky that we have a few prototypes from some of his pieces. So this first one is a prototype from his piece. This is the photo of Unstill Life with Falling Snow and Beaver. This was made in 2015, and it exists right now in the Canadian Embassy in the UK. Cotter had to experiment with the glass that was used in this installation. Cotter used a really special type of glass, which is called dichroic glass. And so here we have some examples of dichroic glass. So there's 2 special things about it. One is the color of it changes as you move. So as we stand over here, looking at the glass on the right, the top part, it looks like a lime green color. And as we move, we'll be able to see more of a pink color, and it's actually looking a little bit blue from this angle. We have a few more pieces of dichroic glass over here. If you block the light behind it, so I'm gonna put my hand at the back, you can see the colors change, and it actually looks like it's transparent, just normal glass. But when I move my hand, it has those beautiful bright colors. So this piece which is over here, you can see on the wall, has a big pelt of beaver fur, and this prototype also has real beaver fur. And as we move, we'll be able to see how the colors become a little bit brighter with this dichroic glass, and how they become duller from this angle. The second piece I'm going to show you by Warren Cotter is Aperture. This is in the Winnipeg International Airport. It was finished in 2011, and it is a monumental sculpture made out of 200 layers of glass that are about 2 centimeters thick. It's incredibly heavy, and we have over here, right next to Aperture, a small little prototype maquette that's to scale. The little groove that you can see here, when you look at the photo, creates the perfect frame of the prairie lands. All right, so the middle section of this gallery is dedicated to Michelle Laplante, and she's a glass artist who lives in Montreal, and her work is very often inspired by the locations in which they're installed. So all public art is location specific. They can't be moved from where they're installed, but Laplante takes it a little bit further. This one is called And Yet It Turns. Can you guess, just based off of these photos, exactly what the functional purpose of this piece would be? Essentially, Laplante has created a sundial. So this was made for a municipal library building in a small island community in Quebec. We have really cool maquettes here that are super detailed. The sundial, so this is the outside of the building, and this will be the inside of the building. The sundial is meant to be read from inside the building. I'll go really close in to the inside of the building. You'll see on the glass it has numbers. So it tells you the time from about 8 o'clock in the morning until 3, 4 o'clock in the evening. This is another one of Laplante's pieces. It's a really detailed maquette of red onions. This was finished in 2011. We can see some of the plans for the glass works. And over here, some really great photos of the finished product. The really interesting thing about this is that the glass work is encased. So you have normal transparent windows on the outside, but these onion sprouts and apples are within another case, and in front of them is a yellow stained glass. It gives the entire piece a really warm feel. It seems like it's summer. When you're looking at this piece, it's like being in a summertime or summertime all the time. So the last artist in this exhibit is Sarah Hall. She gets this entire wall over here. She is a contemporary glass artist. She's internationally recognized, and she's quite famous for her large-scale works. One of the other things that she's known for is using her art to educate about green energy, technology, and innovation. And this piece, which is called Water Glass, is a really great example of it. This is the Harbourfront Centre's Theatre in Toronto. And the glasswork here is essentially a depiction of Lake Ontario. So you can see the waves crashing and moving, and it wraps all around the theater. It's a really beautiful piece. If you look closely at these photos, you can see that there are these tiny little squares that are integrated as part of the design. Those squares are solar panels, and so this piece is essentially generating green energy. We have some prototypes of water glass over here in the case next to the photos, including glass with embedded solar panels. And over here on this plinth, we have a few different solar panels that you guys can touch and feel. Thanks for watching. To see the full exhibition, go to the digital exhibitions page on our website or come see it in person at the gallery until September 20th, 2020. Have a great day.